Hello. This is a brief overview for people that were looking at the stand-up dual spare setup for their Losi Baja Rey. Made a simple little mod here. This is a sheet of silver ABS plastic that I'm looking to start giving away as kits. They'll be mostly pre-assembled. The only real work you'd have to do is modifications to the stock roll cage, which aren't terribly advanced. The only thing you really want is a nice sharp pair of scissors or the cutoff disc for the cuts that you'll need to actually make on the roll cage itself. And after that, there's just one hole that you have to drill at the bottom here to fasten it. There's another bolt that'll have to go through here. So there, that's how it looks mounted. It looks pretty good. I painted the fuel cell here. That's actually the stock one. So I'll give you a sample. So this is basically what you'd get, is this little thing right here. And these will bolt into the roll cage holes. These will bolt into a hole that you're going to be drilling yourself on the back. And these right here are loops for the tie-down straps. You'll actually get tie-down straps. I'll give you a whole bunch of these. I'll say 4 of these you probably need to get it nice and secure. These are pretty heavy-duty nylon polymer Zap straps. So they should hold perfectly fine. I haven't had any problems with mine. Okay, so I'm gonna go in reverse here, because I wanted to start with it already mounted. And get a couple of hex wrenches. We got our 2.0 and our 1.5 here. So 1.5 at the back. Kind of see where the screw holes are. Right? There's actually already holes in the roll cage. I'm not sure if Losi was planning on mounting something there at some point, but they made this a lot easier. Let's get in here. You'll end up with some leftover screws after you modify the roll cage, and that's what I'm planning to use for when you want this mounted on, so I don't have to supply anything really extra except for the 4 countersink screws that are used in the assembly itself. Bottom. You can see here that this rear brace piece has actually been flipped, essentially upside down, a little bit more than upside down, and then these will also be included. They're just little plastic L brackets that you'll fasten into the roll cage to keep it nice and secure. It's still reasonably flexible. These shouldn't snap ever. They're just made of polyethylene, so they shouldn't go anywhere, but yeah. Get you out. This one's pretty long. And you'll see how this all kind of fits together here. Could use the short screw. Alright, there we go. So there's that one drill hole you wanted to do. Now this is all going to kind of come off. Let's see properly how this all fits together. accessing your spares isn't going to be as easy as it would have been with the stock setup. I'll just pop this open, slide this out. So that's one way you can access your spares. You still get them out, right? So just spare here, spare here. So this is what on mine what it would look like basically, and it's just kind of a little kind of gas tank fuel cell thing. It looks all right, reasonably robust. There's a brace that goes under here, a kind of V brace, and right here, in order to actually complete it, you'll want to grab the stock fuel cell piece that the truck comes with as an option to replace the spare tire holder on the gas tank that usually goes on the back. And there's already a slot in there, and that will just slot right in there, and then you'll use the bolt that the truck already comes with to go through that hole, and that'll kind of help hold that part together, and then that through hole in the bottom will help hold this piece together. And once it's all in place, it's very solid. I've run this a few times with it on, gone flying off jumps the wrong way and cartwheeling on my back end, and it's been fine. Nothing's broken here. So see my Zap Strap Setup. I mean, you can use different things. RC 4-wheel drive makes adjustable tie downs, stuff like that. Those will work. But just using the included Zap straps, you want to loop one end around here on the bar and have it run all the way to the loop over here. And then what I do is I just use the clasping end of one Zap strap and then cut off the entire rest of it, just so that it locks it in place, so that it doesn't get pulled out the wrong way once it's all together. Here for the cage, you can see there's only really a couple cuts, but they're not too hard to do. There's one cut here, one cut there on both sides, and then there's two cuts on both sides on this side, and that's really it for cuts. Other than that, it's just the one drill hole right here that you want to do. I'd say use a smaller drill bit, something like probably less than a 1/16, if you can do that. Something just small enough that it doesn't interrupt the plastic too much. You don't want to make the hole too big, obviously. Although to make it easier to thread the bolt, it'll make this joint weak, and you don't want that to be weak. As you can see here, grab it over here, this was the gas tank that was in there before. You can kind of see where the cuts were made, and that's really it. There's also a total of 6 snips that you need to do. And then you can see where the gas tank would have fit before. And yeah, do that. So when you slot the spare tires in, you want to have, I'm assuming you're using the stock size 2.2 by 3, it's short course style rims, and you want to just have the larger side, the 3.0 side, facing outward. So this gap right here and this spot right here will kind of act as a bit of a clamp, so it'll just sandwich right in there, so that way the tire is very secure, because it'll be pinned against both the front and the back and that little piece that's inside of there, so it won't try to fly out or roll up or down out of its position. It'll actually hold in very, very securely. Yep, and that's basically it. That's all you really need to do. These will come mostly pre-assembled, except obviously the fuel cell here and the strapping you'll have to do yourself. Cage mods aren't too complicated, just one drill hole and 6 cuts, and you'd be golden. I'm going to start putting this back together here so you can see that part of the process. Okay, so first you want to Alright. And it's all back together. If you want to take these straps off, you can also undo the bolts on the side here and just slide them off. Because those loops, once they're in place, obviously you can't back them out. But if you do want to remove it still, that is one way you can do it to get the entire thing off. It isn't going to be permanently part of the cage. You can still take it out if you wanted to. So yeah, that concludes this little tutorial. Probably going to sell them for $20, $25 for the kit, and then the shipping will be pre-assembled. I have to sell them pre-assembled because in order to get this silver ABS into the proper shape, I need to use a thermal forming heat gun. It gets very, very hot. Most people don't have those and they're very expensive, so I'm not going to use that to gate it. Although if you did have one, I could ship it flat. You can ask me about it and I can do it that way too. It'll be cheaper shipping. Something like a hair dryer set to hot would never be hot enough to actually get this to fold. So yeah. So hope you enjoyed that little tutorial and the look of this apparatus. I don't think I've caught this on video yet. But I'm working on a few more details for it. Stickers on the back. KRC represent. That's an official sticker for our local club. Going to make some pseudo roll cage out of styrene tubing to go along here, kind of make it look a little more scale appropriate. But outside of that, no, it's good. It holds up great. Looks good. Adds more weight in the rear. Makes the cage more rigid. So it definitely makes it feel more planted at the back. Adjust your springs and your oil weight a little bit higher on the back end, and it'll actually seem to combat the donkey kick a little bit going off of jumps. Don't endo nearly as easily as I used to. So yeah, it's all good.